And welcome again into Strategies for Living. I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan, and I'm delighted that you've tuned in and joined with me today here on Strategies for Living, where we're all about helping us live healthier, happier, and more peaceful lives in our bodies and our minds and our spirits and our relationships here in the 21st century. And we do that by engaging with important life strategists. Each and every time we do Strategies for Living, and I've been looking forward to today. Phyllis Barrington, certified hypnotherapist. Welcome to Strategies for Living.
Thank you, Dave. It's wonderful.
Thank you for being our life strategist today, and we're going to learn all about the wonderful world of hypnosis today. I started to bring, my the pocket watch,
Your
the old movie,
the
old movie thing, and you are getting sleepy, and I decided, well, I don't want to do that.
No, that's not.
Movie and TV stuff, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, let's start with, some people are going to know, Phyllis, and you do a lot of healing work, and we'll talk about how people can get you. Let me say up front that if people want to go to your website, we encourage them to do that, hypnosisovereasy.com.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about hypnosis. We're going to talk about a lot of healing at the unconscious level of mind today. But let's start with, there may be some people that think they know what hypnosis is and maybe are a little cloudy. What is hypnosis? What is that?
Hypnosis is merely walking through the channels of your mind when you are not consciously focused on a particular thought. It could be akin to daydreaming. It could be just that time before you go off to sleep, finally, when you are beginning to run pictures through your mind. So hypnosis is just a wonderful way to access that by asking and hearing leading questions.
We have a conscious mind, which is kind of like a watchdog. It's kind of like the watchdog that won't let a whole lot happen that it doesn't control.
Correct.
And when the unconscious mind takes over, that's a vast place where a lot of healing can take place. But you got to kind of get the watchdog out of the way. And that's what hypnosis does. It's a state of relaxation that enhances communication with that unconscious or subconscious level of mind.
It's a way with specially composed or very relaxing music and the voice which guides softly without calling attention to itself. It's a way to eliminate background noise that would interfere to pull you away so that you're focused.
Oh, and we have so many interferences in our day-to-day lives, don't we?
Oh, yes.
There's a lot of myths about hypnosis. One of the myths that, again, has been, I think, perpetrated by maybe the movie idea and the TV idea of hypnosis is that, well, I don't want to go to hypnosis because I don't want anybody to take over my mind. There's a myth that says hypnosis is mind control. Is that true?
That is what the myth is. Of course, the myth is not the reality. It's clinical hypnosis for healing, has nothing to do with making you instantly fall over and cluck like a chicken, which you won't do anyway unless you want to.
Unless you want to.
You will do nothing or say nothing in hypnosis that your higher mind isn't directing you to do.
For some people that are watching us, maybe the only experience that they've ever had of hypnosis might be, you mentioned cluck like a chicken. If I go to a comedy club, and there are some good hypnotists.
Very good.
They have to be good to be on stage. They're also comedians. They're also entertainers. One of the things that those folks know that maybe the audience doesn't know is, don't know if you've ever been to one.
Yes.
But
And
you'll
they're fun.
never ever see a hypnotherapist or I don't want to call them a hypnotherapist, but a hypnosis entertainer. Let me call them that. you'll never see them go and say, I want you, you, and you.
No.
No.
They're
because
very selective.
it's always who would like to volunteer. And what they know that perhaps the audience doesn't know is in that act of volunteering, you're actually saying, let me help you entertain this crowd.
Correct.
And then a good hypnosis entertainer will maybe start with 10 volunteers and send 5 of them or so back, because they're keeping on stage the ones that are most ready to go into that state.
I have all the time those that call me or come and say, I don't think you can hypnotize me.
Oh, there's another myth.
Yes.
Is that true?
It is not true.
Okay.
It takes longer for some people to relax, period. And that's where truly the heart of hypnosis is, just that deep, deep relaxation. And it's a way to widen the brain waves and slow them down so that you can access more files in your subconscious mind.
I suppose another myth is that I've never been hypnotized before.
Yes.
And some people are saying, well, I know I've never been hypnotized before. But when you talk about the state that is hypnosis, we're all very familiar with that. If we go to sleep at night and we're at that place in between, we're not really awake yet, but we're not asleep yet. There's hypnosis.
That's it.
Same thing in the morning when the alarm rings. If I hit the alarm and give me a little snooze, I'm not really awake yet, but I'm not really asleep either. I'm in between. Yeah, another place it happens is if you go on a trip and let's say you're going down the highway of maybe between here and Dallas, let's say, and you've made the trip many times, and if you ever had the awareness of where did that last 30 miles go?
Or how did I miss my exit?
That's the hypnosis state that we're delving into for the benefit of our clients, right?
That is correct.
Have we missed any of the common kind of myths or misconceptions that are out there?
Probably the most common one is that I'm scared and I don't know that I want to be hypnotized because I may not be able to come back out.
Oh, you're hitting a very good one. There has never been a documented case of anyone getting lost in hypnosis. It doesn't happen. Now, I've had the experience, and I imagine you've had the experience, where you get a client into that hypnotic state, and it's like, leave me alone. I don't want, you're inviting them to come back, and no, leave me, I'm not ready yet.
I have people often who snore when I'm doing a session, and I'll have to bring them back up slightly to communicate with me.
Okay, you're hitting on something.
They were very much hearing me, even though they were snoring.
Well, you're hitting on something, because that's another thing that I've heard sometimes is, what if I go to sleep? Well, it's the conscious mind that sleeps. But the unconscious or subconscious mind, it doesn't matter. It's always there and always open for business, isn't it? And if you think about that, it's very natural. It's a very natural state, because it's that unconscious mind that takes care of things that we don't even have to think about consciously. Breathing, beating our hearts, movement. Kinesthetic movement, all of that is
the autopilot.
It's the autopilot. What are the most common? Now you do something called again hypnosisovereasy.com, but you do several types of hypnosis. One of which is quantum hypnosis. That sounds big.
And it is big. It expands the vast reaches of your subconscious that you would have never even thought you had an awareness of at any level. It's able to tap into what some people call collective consciousness, which is where all of our energies meld, and we are only energy. So it's a way to go back in your timetable, because we all are a timetable or a chart within all of ourselves. It's a way to go back to access when I had that bike accident, what trauma happened to me at that point that I don't even remember now because I no longer have a Band-Aid. But it goes back many places.
You can access so many things. Several years ago, I had a wonderful experience with hypnosis. Phyllis, I had this cute little lady come in, and if you looked up grandma in the dictionary, her picture would be there. And I so wanted to help her. And she came in, I don't know where she had heard that I did some hypnosis, but she came in and she said, I've lost some money. I went to the bank, and she said, I have a sister that lives over in Dallas, and I cashed my check, and I got back home, and my sister called me, and I had to get to Dallas. And she said, I thought I was only going to be there a day or so, ended up having to be there several days. Came back, can't find my money. I hid it someplace in the house.
Right.
Can you help me? And I said, oh, geez, I don't know, but I'll try. Well, I don't know. I don't know where your money is, but maybe you know where your money is. So I got her into that state that you know very well and that we're talking about today. And as she was coming back out of hypnosis, after she said, man, that was wonderful, she said, my sewing machine. And I said, well, why don't you go home and look in your sewing machine? And she described, she had one of those furniture type sewing machines, and sure enough, I had her ask her to call me when she got back home and tell me if the money was there. And she was delighted, found her money in the sewing machine. And
I call it spelunking, hypnosis, spelunking in the mind.
I love it.
Because you're going into those caves where normally you don't go to visit because of fear, because you don't trust yourself. It's like that experience sometimes of you save the place where something is that you've lost as the last place you look because that's your last ditch resort.
Absolutely.
That is what hypnosis is to a lot of the population.
We're learning today about hypnosis. We're learning from Phyllis Barrington, hypnosisovereasy.com. We're going to take a quick break, but we've got more. We've got more to learn from our life strategist, Phyllis Barrington, today here on Strategies for Living. Stay with us. Be right back.
Thanks. You believe this guy?
Are you trying to start a wildfire?
Sorry. Pass the honey?
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Storms come up fast. Storm Protect Your Family now. We want you to know a safe room or storm shelter can provide the highest protection for your family during tornadoes and other severe windstorms. To learn more about how you can protect your family and property from storms, visit getagameplan.org and click on Mitigation Plan. Louisiana, we can do this. This mitigation message brought to you by the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness.
In 1977, in Johannesburg, South Africa, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. By the age of 9, he was already outplaying him. The odds of this gentle lad winning the Junior World Golf Championships at the age of 14, 1 in 16 million. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours, 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the Open Championship once and the US Open Championship twice, 1 in 780 million. The odds of this professional golfer having a child diagnosed with autism, 1 in 110. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
It's time to join forces. Get energized and fuel up right. Because starting today, every kid in America has a mission. Bring out the action hero in you. Be part of the greatest action movie ever. The first movie that puts you in the action. Show us how you train and eat like an action hero. Join in at actionheroalliance.com.
And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. Hey, you're watching Strategies for Living today. Don't forget, we're on the radio too. Don't forget about the radio version of Strategies where it all started about 21 years ago now. I can't believe it's been 21 years. News Radio 710 Keel, Sunday mornings, 9:05 to 10 is where you can catch Strategies for Living. You can also catch us on Thursdays on healthylife.net. You can catch us all the time at strategiesforliving.com. We're talking about hypnosis today with Phyllis Barrington. And I got to mention, Phyllis, I didn't know you'd written a book.
And I did.
You've done so many things here. The book is, you've self-published it. It's called Life is a Picnic, Bring Your Own Ants.
Yes.
I love it. Now, if people want a copy of the book, they got to call you.
You have to
right?
call, and I will.
You're reworking this as we speak.
Yes,
It's going to
am.
republish and then be available widely. But I want to share, you say in the foreword of the book, more than 30 years ago, when I realized that all of those constants I'd clung to in my life no longer held, I let go and began a free fall.
That's
that
it.
opened the way for finding my truth, a truth that didn't fit in the conservative traditional ideologies of the time. From early spiritual pioneers like Edgar Cayce and Ruth Montgomery, I learned to listen and become intimate with the voice within that delivered words and messages that I alternatively embraced and cursed as blasphemy. I
Yes.
think that's a great first paragraph. Great way to say it. Life is a picnic. If you want to contact Phyllis, well, how do you do that? 868-6197 is her phone number, and hypnosisovereasy.com is where you can find her on the web. Now, you mentioned last segment quantum hypnosis, healing therapies. Say a little bit more about that.
And I briefly touched on the journey, which is pretty standard with clinical hypnotherapy going back. But with the quantum, it opens the space for whatever the background is of the person, from atheist to agnostic to very in the box to any world religion or none. It opens a way for them to do their own travel in this life, and then I take them to a potential other place in all of creation, whether it's this planet or off planet. I had someone one day find a lifetime as a rock. That was, for whatever reason, it was pertinent to finding the person came with anxiety, and they needed to experience the calmness of just being. And then they go on, and we have guiding questions that we formulated beforehand, and they walk on through and kind of step back, and answers come to their questions from a higher place.
A renowned hypnotherapist, psychiatrist, Dr. Brian Weiss, who's written many, many books, including his bestseller, Many Lives, Many Masters. And Dr. Weiss has done past life regression for well over 5,000 people. I was interviewing him on the radio show several years ago. And one of the things that he shared, I asked him, because he is he's, I think, a Yale-trained psychiatrist. He came to find out about past lives and past life therapy by accident, and then he was curious, and again, he's written prolifically on it. But I asked him, Dr. Weiss, do you believe in past lives? Do you believe we all have past lives? And he said, honestly, David, I don't know. And he said, I don't care either. He said, what I care about is my patients get better.
I understand that because a person does not have to believe any one precept to get the information they need. So if it is their past life or a piece of wisdom from higher consciousness that makes them connect with that feeling to get healed, it's okay.
Phyllis, what kinds of things, and we need to mention, you're an energy healer also, so you use many different modalities in addition to you're trained and certified, you're a certified ionic researcher, you're trained in something called Psych-K, you and I share that, EFT, Dr. Eric Pearl, reconnection therapy. You're trained in a lot of different, we could call them broadly, energy therapies. But what are the things that people might use hypnosis and this other plethora of other energy therapies that you offer? What are some reasons that they might contact you? Is it anxiety, depression? What kinds of things can you help?
Those are two of the top 5. Number 1 probably is, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I can't stop smoking, and I have to.
Can't lose weight,
Can't
and
lose
I need
weight,
to.
and I need to. And my relationship, I don't know, and I'm stuck. I'm just stuck.
You know, you've hit probably the two things, smoking cessation and weight loss are probably the two things that hypnosis is best known for. And the success rate is phenomenal, particularly when you stack hypnosis up against the other smoking, even pills. Hypnosis's success rate is far higher than any one prescription medication or patch or gum or anything like that. You can go out there and find for yourself the success rates of those things. But hypnosis has a phenomenal success rate of people who come in, they bring the willpower, they bring the want to in, and hypnosis gives them that little something extra from deep down within, right?
Absolutely. I do many kinds of modalities in conjunction with hypnosis, which makes the process I used, which I called Omniforce, because it's a plethora, about a dozen types of tools I combine, and I will use at any one session. And I use muscle testing or biofeedback with the person's arm, and that's pretty common with chiropractors and alternative medicine now, to use that for the person to find out what the real truth is as a starting point for doing discovery method.
Bet you get some surprise looks sometimes.
I do. And then,
how did you know that about me?
Yes, but I truly, as the book said, I listen. So I have asked to be able to use that ability in a very powerful way to help basically the masses, which I do. So I ask with muscle testing, what's the best type process to begin here? Is it going to be magnetic release, which I also do, emotional release and balancing of the body? Is it Silva, mental dynamics? And then I do lots of visualization with them. And
you know, I would ask our audience to be open-minded enough to think about hypnosis as potentially helping them for many, many things, even things that maybe we would go, and I'm certainly don't not go to your medical doctor or your chiropractor.
Absolutely, go.
But you might be surprised at how much healing power you have within your mind.
That's where it all comes
from.
from.
Many other concerns that you might have, from high blood pressure to, dare I even say it, even Cancer.
The big C,
Yeah.
yes. I have people come, one gentleman, and I've done a spot about this, who came to me from the military, disability with epileptic seizures and number 8 pain constantly. And he's been dismissed now from the VA. He no longer, after we did about 6 or so sessions, he no longer has epilepsy or pain.
Wow.
He's back in his life.
Wow.
So has a church. He's in South Texas. So
Wow.
this is awesome.
So again, you know, you don't know, and that's one of the things that I hope we are communicating today, is the power of the unconscious mind. And it gives us, you and I have both used the word plethora today. I like that word. It just says it's such a plethora of surprises
Right.
that are there
Because
just to be
it's-
plumbed.
It's never, almost never about one thing.
Well, I tell you what, I would like to go on with this conversation for hours, Phyllis, but we can't.
Right.
Our time is up, so we're going to invite our viewers to continue the conversation with you. How do they do that? HypnosisOverEasy.com is the easy way to get in touch with Phyllis Barrington. Our caller at 868-6197. Folks, I'll see you next time for the next edition of Strategies for Living.